Right, good afternoon ladies and gentlemen, it's Antony Carpen here in Cambridge by the river, and as you can see we've got lots of boats behind us because it's bumps weekend. And if we look on the other side of the camera, we have the Museum of Technology. And what's also happened, I think this is a first for this summer, is the Thirsty Bar on Chesterton Road has very nicely set up shop in the garden of the museum. Now this museum used to be our pumping station, and as you can see up there it's got what used to be the biggest chimney in the city, and it was built in 1894 to deal with the problem of sewage in the River Cam, because the River Cam was literally a shithole. It was where all of the waste in the city would end up, and basically the whole thing stank. And it was perhaps one of the reasons why the tradition of punting is actually a lot more modern than most people think it is. Because why would you want to go punting in a river full of sewage and effluent and rubbish? And so I think it was in the Museum of Cambridge the first sign of punting as such as an activity I found was dated from the mid-1800s, which is quite striking. Anyway, I'm heading across the bridge to the Chesterton Festival, and it's all part of the weekend, or this weekend rather, to celebrate the life of Joe Cox, MP, who was tragically assassinated by a right-wing terrorist. Now what we have just over here is a fascinating little icon here. And this, I believe, is for bats. Now, what we have here, obviously over all of this is a nominally floodplain. But as you can see, you can imagine, this part of town by the river is basically a developer's wet dream. Apologies for the use of language and visualization, but you can imagine any developer thinking, yep, we could make easily £100 million off this land, which is quite sad, really, because building on floodplains is never a good idea, especially with climate change and the increased risk of flooding putting up premiums, which means properties then become uninsurable. Now, this part of town used to, I believe, have the pie works, and we're going to a place called Pies Field, which is where the festival is taking place. And there are a number of if we just have a look here, there you go, and that's the Chesterton Festival. And if we look at the timetable here, it's all part of a whole week of events. Thank you very much. And actually, as you can see, we've got a whole host of very recently built new flats and apartments, and this is one of the fascinating things for me as a politics watcher in Cambridge, is with the inevitable growth of housing, you get new people coming in to live in them. And I'm intrigued for two reasons. The first is, how's it going to affect the electoral and political balance? And the second is, how do we get all of the new people who are coming to live in these places to get involved in local democracy? Because as the city grows and grows, there are obviously inevitably much greater demands on our services. I'm just going to pop into St Andrew's Hall because I think they've got stuff that's happening for the festival as well, and just have a look at some of the posters that they've got up. But I'll see you in a bit.